Don't want to run out of time.
As soon as I saw him, I was like, oh, let me give them a little space. And that is everybody that signed up to speak virtually.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's what I have.
That's who I'm watching for. Gotcha.
Up front, if anybody wants to speak tonight, if you would sign your name and your information there, that would be. There you go. I also marked it so Mike could.
Yep.
So we're getting there. But... Yeah. Still let and we should be like everything has to be growing. Now we've let it does. Things are healthier and it's prettier. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry. Oh, you're good. Sure, an hour ago.
How are you?
How's Kara's stage?
It was good.
Survived the weekend. I don't know the
Festivities.
I like that a lot. That's so like so my vibe aesthetic. My dress that I wore on Saturday was a little gorgeous.
well.
I wore red shoes with it, so I'm like, okay. I was like, but yeah, it was cute. Yeah, no, it was really nice. And like we had a small little gathering afterwards, like just family. He had one friend that showed up for like a little bit. No, he didn't want me to. He said that we're not. He didn't want to celebrate graduation because I know that's what I said too.
Okay.
Mike Capon would understand though. So you graduate, but you get to go right back to school the next day because you have to start prepping for bar.
Oh yeah, my ex-husband.
Yeah, and so like he finished. He graduated on Saturday, but then yesterday and today, and all this week and half of next week, he's right back at Gonzaga for doing bar prep stuff. And then after that, he starts a 10-week intensive private bar prep course. Yeah, and then he takes the bar last week of July. Yeah, and so like he's like, while I feel a sense of accomplishment,
Okay.
I'm not done. And he's like, so I don't see the point of having a big party and celebration. Yeah, I'm not done.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, so for your family, because they're coming to graduation anyway, we're gonna come back to the house and have a champagne toast. Still a milestone. We're celebrating that you're now. We're celebrating that I'm now Mrs. Dr. B. Okay, like snaps for Jackie. I finally got the doctorate.
Yeah. So, when it comes up,
Realizing that, oh, I guess now I have a doctor in my name. But so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw him finishes the bar, and that is gonna be,
Okay.
that'll be at the end of the summer.
Shelley, can you,
Because
can
he'll
you
do the
promote me to
results,
panelist
like,
so I can
sometime
see
right before
the?
the fall Olympics.
Yep.
And so we'll have.
And then you have to go to Olivia to get sworn in.
Yeah, yep, yeah, and that's fine. We got friends and family over there, like, but yeah, so then after that, then we'll have the big celebration. I'm super stoked because I'm gonna do like the big bar thing. So like dessert bars.
Oh my god.
And we'll do a
Chocolate
lemonade
bar.
bar, like a chocolate bar. Like I just like bars. I love themed
That's really
themed
easy to work
parties.
with.
Yeah, super easy to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I love themed parties. So I'm just like, all right, and that's gonna be one of those like anybody, everybody, like I'll like an announcement account. So like I don't care. If you are hearing this, my answer is public record anyway. Cool. But yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know, it was nice. It was really nice. It was really nice. Really nice graduation ceremony. Their keynote speaker was one of our Supreme Court justices from Washington. And then, yeah, it was really cool. And also like super inspirational, by the way. Their top of the class lawyer,
Well,
middle-aged woman with a chemical engineering degree and 5 kids at home. And I was just like,
It's your future.
I feel seen. I was just like, there we go. There we go. It is doable.
Yeah, yeah.
It's doable.
Yeah.
And you can come out on top. I was like, all right. So,
Legally blonde.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So
It's just for you guys. to
I've been
there.
doing like
Yeah.
prep stuff.
Yeah.
Because I take it on the 4th of June. And one of the prep programs
Explain
I've
to
been
you
using,
because she
all
thought
of
like
her
this here,
examples
like,
are
this is-
set in that universe. And so it'd be like, Elle breathed so many blah 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 blah. And like, and like, but there's little Easter eggs and references to the movies, and I was just like, this is amazing. This was so built for me. But yeah.
That's here, but they're just made, they're clearing, and so they're not, these are our main. That's all. This one was for you.
oh,
Yeah, but they want to text me.
Okay, the time.
there you go.
Yes, I was waiting on time.
Okay. You just took a
2 minutes.
I did. I looking at that clock though. I had 10 seconds.
Yeah, like my laptop's off by like 15 whole minutes, and I have no idea how to fix that.
Mine's always off in one direction.
No, I had to call executive. How
Okay.
not with it. Just don't use the clock.
Yeah, I wasn't going to, but there's been so many times that I've like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be late, and then I get up there and I'm like, I left earlier than I needed to.
Oh, well, at least it's
Yeah,
mine was
mine's
6
early.
minutes slow.
Oh no, mine's like way ahead.
There
So
we
right
go.
now it probably says that it's like 6:10.
Yes.
I'm like, why haven't we started this meeting yet?
Yes, okay.
It's like, oh, wait.
What do I have here?
What is this?
How are you?
Oh, yeah, okay. Get all my stuff together here. Few more minutes. Do we have a lot of people online?
Oh.
Okay, okay, maybe that's what I was wondering. Are they? They do come. That's great. Bye. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Okay. How are you? Same. How's it going? Nice to meet you. Oh, thanks. You know, sometimes. Together. We don't have much.
Supposed to work, she called up, so last minute.
He's online. He's remote. He is.
Yeah.
Why you-
Together.
He's a goal. Oh, actually,
How about yours?
yeah, it really is.
Let's see this one.
Start this shindig, huh?
Wrap up
We've got 10 more seconds.
just in time for bar
Now?
prep.
Now I guess.
Maybe not schooling for another.
Yeah, basically.
I will call our meeting to order, May 12th, regular city council meeting at 6 PM. Will you please rise for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Ms. Klingenberg, will you do the roll call? Present?
Present.
Present.
Member Postma,
Present.
Councilmember Long,
Here.
Councilmember Mazzara,
Here.
Councilmember Beal.
Present.
And I have received a request for Councilmember Labar to be excused for the meeting tonight.
So moved. Second.
There is a motion and a second to excuse Councilmember Labar. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. At this point, we will do some council comments. I have received, council and the mayor's office have received a significant number of email comments. I will just scroll down the list for information. First from Christy Lawning in favor of the kratom ban. Again, another email from Laura, Romney against the full kratom ban. Melody Wold also against the full kratom ban. Jeff Reagan against the full kratom ban. Misty Brown against full kratom ban. Brittany Sefton against a full kratom ban. Dana Avedizian against a full kratom ban. Sasha Fawcett against a full kratom ban. Jordan Roy against a full kratom ban. And then Shannon Harold against a full kratom ban. Many of these emails were received directly to the mayor or to city council, and many were forwarded to them. And then, so those are the council comments received and forwarded. The sign-in sheet for, do we do the in-person ones first? Okay, so we will do our in-person citizen comments first, and we'll just go down this list. I want to remind you that there is a 2-minute time limit, which you will see on this timer, and we'll just ask you to stop at the timer because there's so many people who would like to provide comments today. If you will state your name and your address for the record when you come up, and we'll start with Liam Reagan.
The first are,
Pardon me. These are online comments. Got it. So we do not have any in-person comments. Would anyone like to provide public comment that did not have an opportunity to sign up? Okay. Do we have Liam Reagan online? Okay. Is Dana Avedizian online? How about Melody Wolf? Okay. Melody, hopefully you can see the 2-minute timer. And we'll unmute you and you're welcome to begin.
Hi, thank you so much for letting me talk tonight. My name is Melody Wolf and I'm from Kalamazoo, Michigan. I'm speaking against the kratom ban because that's not where the federal direction is going. And July 29th, I spoke at the HHS and FDA press conference. I've been consuming kratom for 12 years now daily, and they asked me to come and talk from their platform about the benefits about it. So I tell them about the benefits where I've been bedridden for like almost a decade. I've been a chronic pain patient for over 20 years. And because of kratom, I no longer need mobility aids. And the government has been very clear. They are not looking at a kratom ban. And I also went to the, Florida University, the University of Florida Research Center at Lake Nona, where I was with regulators and scientists from all over the country and at every U.S. healthcare agency. Nobody talked about a ban for kratom. They did for 7-OH, but not for kratom. And Dr. Nora Volko, she was our keynote speaker. She has a very pro-kratom stance. She said so at the 2024 congressional briefing, and she said so at the symposium. And so I just want to ask you to please follow the federal guidance. I'm fighting for my mobility, and what affects one city affects a state, affects another. And I'm just trying to keep it legal for the 26 million people who consume it safely. So please follow federal guidance and keep it legal, but with reasonable regulations, of course, age limit, labeling, standards like that. Thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. The next person signed up is Jennifer Gillis online. Is she available?
She is online.
Okay.
Hi, how are y'all doing tonight?
Hi, just want to remind you that we have a 2-minute time limit and please proceed.
Sure. I just want to say, I know that y'all are having the kratom discussion tonight, and 20 years ago, I became a lifelong chronic pain patient after being diagnosed with transverse myelitis. And for years, I relied on prescription medications through my doctor. However, through no fault of my own, I lost access to those medications. And a friend of mine told me about whole leaf kratom. And I haven't looked back. It gave me my life back. I'm able to manage my pain without the mental impairment that traditional opioids brings. I can go to school functions, the store, just live life again without constantly being in that chronic pain cycle. I do want to say there is a huge difference between the natural whole leaf kratom and the 7-OH products that are out there. The growing concerns that we hear in the media, the Poison Control Center calls, the rehab numbers, things like that going up, those are being attributed a lot of times to kratom because they're not differentiating the two. And to many people, they're sold the 7-OH products and being told that it's a kratom product. And that's just it's caused a real big issue in the kratom community, and it's just very disheartening to see. But I just wanted to say I hope y'all consider regulation, age restricting, proper labeling, and restricting the 7-OH products and keeping natural kratom available to the people who rely on it for a better quality of life, like me, that deal with chronic pain. But that's it. Thank you so. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else online?
Shannon Lee.
Okay, Shannon, just a reminder, we have 2-minute time limit. You can begin when you're ready.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, good evening. My name is Shannon. I'm here today to share my testimony regarding the vital role natural leaf kratom has played in my life and to urge you to consider regulation rather than a total ban. I am a healthcare worker. In 2017, in 2017, I suffered from chronic lower back pain. It was so severe that it led to ER and doctor's visits and many days out of work. Being a CNA, as many as you know, we are the backbone in the medical field. Finding natural leaf kratom powder has been a total miracle for me and many others who seek natural pain relief. It is terrifying if natural kratom is banned. Many who depend on this natural plant, which have been around for centuries, would be forced to turn to opioids. Natural leaf kratom is not an opioid. Synthetic 7-OH is, and it is dangerous. It's extremely addictive and should be totally banned. 7-OH is not the same as natural whole leaf kratom. Natural kratom provides pain relief without the risk associated with synthetics or opioids like 7-OH. Even the FDA announced at their July 29th, 2025 press conference they are not interested in scheduling kratom, but rather than banning synthetic. I ask that you please take my testimony into account and many others that have reached out. A total ban would be devastating to our state and our entire country, and the many that rely on this natural plant for the quality of life. Please regulate natural kratom to protect our access to natural pain relief and ban synthetic 7-OH. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
William Reagan.
Hi, this is Jeff Reagan. How are you today? Thank you for taking my call. Can you hear
Yeah.
me okay?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Just
Okay, yes, I was on another call in California. There's some of us volunteers that try to represent people that don't know the banning that's going on. I was in a lot of pain and in a lot of the same situations as a lot of people in your municipalities. And I just want to thank you for trying to understand the difference between 7-OH synthetic and the natural leaf. There is a huge difference. The 7-OH and other synthetics are really hurting people. I think it's probably killing people and making them instantly addicted. It's horrible. But I've been doing it since taking there's different kinds. I take the red leaf kind. It helps reduce my pain a great deal. I have degenerative disc disease, osteoarthritis, spinal stenosis, and sciatica. I've been working. I used to work at the shipyard over here in Newport News for 30 years, and it really did a big deal to my back. Amazingly so. It's also drastically reduced my craving for alcohol. I was a pretty I could work, but I was drinking way too much, like so many other people. And I don't know what's the greater benefit, the not having the cravings for alcohol or not having the pain and being able to take care of stuff around the house that my wife was having to take care of. It's just miraculous. And I get mine online. I'm not going to buy it if it's something that just says kratom or red or whatever. It needs a lab analysis. I'm sure you guys have heard of the Kratom Consumer Protection Act in different states. It has really good regulations. If you, I don't know how much research you've done. I'm sure you've done quite a bit, but I just wanted to tell you all that there's so many people out there who have no idea that this could help, or that maybe they're on it now. They're taking it for their pain, and it's going to be taken away. So thank you again for taking my call. I'm sorry I'm late, but y'all have a good evening.
thank you. Anyone else?
Mike Fasano.
These people from.
Mike,
Hello. Yeah.
just a
I was
reminder that we have 2 minutes.
okay. Thank you. I was also in California hearing too. I've been a kratom consumer of the natural tea leaf for well over 15 years. It's helped mostly with my chronic insomnia. It's helped with my joint pain. It's helped with my ADHD. I'm healthy. I'm productive. I'm a good member of society. I've consumed it on and off. I also advocate for what the others have said about regulation and age restrictions. There are plenty of people that have found effectiveness with kratom leaf for their chronic pain. Either they may not have insurance or doctor access to pain medicines, or the medicines give them side effects, and they found relief through natural leaf kratom. Veterans with PTSD have found use, and so much more. And I just want to echo what the others have said about regulation. And I just wanted to share my story with you, and that I concur with what the other says, that the natural leaf tea kratom has been very helpful. And I want to thank you for giving me the time to speak today. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that concludes our citizen comments. So we will move to the next item on our agenda, which is meetings from our April 28th minutes from our April 28th regular city council meeting.
Mayor, I would move approval of the meeting minutes for April 28th as presented, unless there's some comments or discussion.
Okay. A motion and a second to approve the April 28th regular city council meeting minutes. Those in favor? Any opposed? All right, so we'll move to vouchers and payroll.
Yes, we had vouchers totaling $264,127.78 and payroll of $628,000.
Mayor, the finance committee has reviewed the vouchers and payroll. I would make a motion to approve as well.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve vouchers and payroll. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So those are approved. You can see the small contracts that I approved with one correction. MRSC Small Works roster and Tammy Schrader grant writing are correct. However, the Divco Ren Pearson preschool AC repair is actually an AC repair by Provision Heating and Cooling for a, sorry, that's okay, for a different amount, which I believe is $5,500 plus tax.
Mayor, if I may just have a quick question.
Yes.
On the grant writing contract, I'm assuming that's kind of an open contract as needed.
Yes.
I would just.
By the hour.
By the hour, I would just ask if before we pursue a grant, if that could be, depending on the grant type, if that could just be pushed through a subcommittee. We just don't want to get into a situation where the grant writer fills out a grant, comes back to us, and we might not accept it because of the grant assurances or conditions. So.
Correct. Right. Yep.
Appreciate the fact you brought on a grant writer, but I'm thinking for process, we just want to make sure that as we're going after grants, they're appropriate.
Yes.
Thank you.
I think we talked about that, but it's always good to note it. Put it right here. We do not have any information items tonight, but I do have an appointment. Mr. Abelman?
Yeah, I'd like to introduce Finance Director Big Gross. I sent out some information about him. The finance committee this evening has just got to introduce and kind of talk, and we talked all over the board. And I think he is going to be an excellent fit for our position here. And like I say, the mayor is asking your confirmation of appointing James Rouse. So.
What was the interview process like?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure.
Great.
Sure. We went through the interview process. The mayor was even involved with the interview process, and we had a series of questions to that end. We had Marnie, and we had, who else do we have?
HR carry with here.
And then we
HR.
had the finance directors from the city of Spokane Valley and Airway Heights here as well.
So, yep, based on all the interviews, we pulled James out. That recommendation. So.
Any other?
Mayor, if there aren't further questions, I motion to confirm James Rouse. I just like to make a comment. We got to spend some time, not very much, but about an hour with him, just from 5 to 6. And I had lots of questions because I didn't know James very well. And he seems very highly qualified for our position. I'm really excited about some of the past work that he's done. And I think it will transition really well to the city of Cheney with some of the things that we've wanted to do and move forward into. And I think your expertise in many areas could be a huge benefit to us as a city. So I'm excited to have you on board.
Was that a second?
That's a second for sure.
Can I ask one more question?
Yes, absolutely.
During the interview process, did you talk about previous employment in King County and what's occurring in King County?
Briefly, but not significantly, because I don't think that's an HR approved discussion. So no. No.
We did check references and do a background check.
So there is a motion and a second to confirm the appointment of James Rouse as finance director. Those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed?
I abstain.
And any abstentions? Okay, thank you. All right, which brings us to, well, okay, so you're confirmed.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm excited.
Resolution, or sorry, we'll move on to action items. Resolution 26-0, Resolution F492, the purchase and sale of surplus property fire truck.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Good evening, Council. I'd also be remiss if I didn't say that Marnie did a fabulous job holding down the finance section for the last 5.5 months. So us firefighters can be very needy people, and so thank you for your grace and patience with us navigating the finance department. So before you tonight, Resolution F492. And so as I had alluded to, I think a couple weeks ago, Spokane Valley Fire Department has graciously donated for a whopping $1 to sell to us a very used, it's a 2007 Seagrave aerial pumper. It's a 65-foot stick versus our current ladder truck is 109 feet stick, but it's got a much better pump capability and it's in really good condition. I did ask the mayor and I conferred with Attorney Capon, who's not with us tonight, if we could go ahead and go down and pick it up last week, just because the valley was itching to get rid of that truck out of their truck bays because they had a fleet of new engines that they were trying to get into service. So we went ahead and went down and picked it up pre tonight's resolution before you all tonight. But the Valley did let us know, and I would like to preface it with this, is that they probably put estimated anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000 into that truck before they donated it or sold it to us for $1. They did the ladder testing, the pumping testing. They replaced a hydraulic pump and they did some other work just to get it ready for us here for the city of Cheney. And they did note that there is a hydraulic swivel that's going bad on the vehicle. It doesn't prevent a firefighter to getting on the aerial device, climbing up and down the aerial device, but they recommended we don't put a firefighter on the ladder while the ladder is turning. So basically we would have to park the truck, position the ladder, and then they feel very confident that the ladder will do its intended purpose with that. So we'll have to look into seeing what we can do to maybe get that hydraulic swivel fixed or replaced. But in the meantime, it's going to make a great backup reserve engine and ladder truck for the city of Cheney and our auto aid partners in the region. So with that, happy to answer any questions, but if not, I'd ask for your approval for us to accept this amazing surplus vehicle.
Quick comment. At Mayfest, you got to showcase this, and thank you for opening up the firehouse for Mayfest. I think this is again, I just want to echo a great testament to Chief and all his staffs, not only relationships, but the fact that you landed this for us. It's a huge deal for the city to get this ladder truck, a backup truck for $1. It's huge. So thank you for that whole hard work.
Yeah. I'd echo that and just say, I think this might be the best purchase the city's ever possibly made in its history. Thanks, Chief.
Oh, I think the purchase of James over here is going to outweigh that.
We're getting James for 50 cents? Whoa. I did not realize that was a salary, but that's great. Thanks, James.
Any other questions or concerns that I could address?
No, I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve resolution F-492, the purchase and sale of surplus property from Spokane Valley Fire Department to the Cheney Fire Department.
I'll second it. A motion and a second to approve resolution F-492. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Resolution passes. Thank you. I believe, Mr. Abelman, you have a few of these. So resolution F-493, the Zipley Fiber Fourth Amendment will be
Yes,
fixed.
thank you. Steve Marks is absent tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and take on this agenda. Yeah, this is the Fourth Amendment. We've been working with Zipley. They are supposed to be off our network quite a while ago, so this is leading to the fourth. They came back with a 1-month amendment. The mayor was not pleased with the 1-month amendment, so we asked him for a 3-month amendment, and hopefully we won't go into a 5th amendment. That will give them plenty of time to kind of vacate and get off our fiber. So it's pretty much a template of the 3rd Amendment. It's just extending another 3 months. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Your Honor, we've discussed this at length, I think, at Public Works, and it's been extending these as needed because we need them, I guess, to some extent. I guess hopefully there isn't going to be a 4th one, but I realize this 3rd one is only going to extend it through this month. So do we have some degree of certainty that they may vacate? 50% chance?
Yeah, I think if they want any additional extension, that's probably going to be longer than 3 months. We'd probably ask for this a full year, but I think they indicated that they were planning to be out within a month. So.
Yeah, I think the language is a little confusing. The 3rd Amendment is through the end of this month. The 4th Amendment that we're asking for today is June, July, and August. So through the 31st of August. And then they asked for 1 month, but we're not going to come before you every month. if they need extra. So 3 months is our minimum for that.
And hopefully this fourth will do it.
We'll do it. That's what they've led us to believe. So
Okay. Well, if there are no further comments,
I have a question.
go for it.
Do we know why it's taking them so long?
I'd have to refer to Steve, but I think they're just having problems with either pole contacts or running their own fiber, I believe is what some of the concerns are.
I don't have any more detail.
Again, I think it's necessary for operations, so I would still make the motion to approve F493.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve resolution F493. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That resolution is approved. So still with you, Mr. Abelman, resolution F494.
494, obviously Cindy Niemeyer was the one, and then we assigned as a temporary for Marnie to take over. But now that we have James Rouse on board, this is just pretty much a housekeeping to assign him as the investment person for the local government investment pool. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Your Honor, we briefly discussed this at Finance Committee. It's pretty customary that the finance director is that individual. And other questions or comments, I would move for resolution F494.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve resolution F494. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That resolution is approved. So resolution F495.
Yeah, none of the department heads show up during this session. I don't know why. I just love doing agenda items. But anyway, Dan Ferguson on the vacation. Hopefully he's enjoying it.
I think I wanted to give you one last shot at this time.
Yeah, maybe one last shot. Yep. So this is the Spokane County. We signed basically an agreement with Spokane County for to provide some of what we call our double chip seal. This is just a less expensive to do some surface treatments to preserve roads. We're looking at Front Street right now. A few years back, we did just a single chip seal. For the majority of it held, but we still received some potholes. We believe by going in and patching those potholes and then doing what they call a double chip seal and a scrub seal, it's going to pretty much help out that whole condition at less than half the price of what we'd have to do to overlay. I just looked at the cost. It's $130 per ton of asphalt to that end, which would make this a sizable cost if we had to overlay it. So I think this process that Spokane County is doing hopefully will give us a less cost and make it more drivable. And that's on Front Street, basically between Pine and Cheney, Spangle Road. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
A couple, Todd. What's the breakup there? Is the county paying for some and we're paying for some?
No, this is basically the county has their own process. It's called double chip seal or fog seals. What they do is they go out and they do their own roads, and then municipalities can sign an interlocal agreement with Spokane County for their work, and we can schedule these type. If they have it in their schedule, we can schedule them to come out and do our roads. Medical Lake was one that took advantage of it through a TIB grant, did a majority of their roads at a less cost. TIB engineer says that the Spokane County team is one of the best he's ever seen. So we're excited maybe to have them out to see what they can actually do.
And then was this in the budget?
This was in the budget. Yeah, it's
That's
part
what I
of our
thought. Okay.
residential or reservation. Yep.
If there's no other comments, I will move to approve resolution F495.
Second.
There's a motion and a second for approving resolution F495. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That resolution also passes. So Mr. Curley, I believe you're up for resolution F496. The pickleball and tennis court project.
Mayor, Council, yeah, we received 6 bids for the pickleball project and pickleball and tennis project. The bottom 4 bids were within $10,000, so that's makes us confident that the low bid is going to be reliable. We also And that was by Northwest Turf Solutions with tax 317,000. We also had 2 bid alternate items to restore the existing tennis court fencing and to also add some pickleball court surfacing, all-weather surfacing. But with our budget, we'll have to probably pass on those 2 bid alternate items and just seek approval of the base bid from Northwest Turf Solutions. Our landscape architect, SPVV, was a sub-consultant of Parametrics for this. They reached out to Northwest Turf Solutions on Monday to try to start the conversation about value engineering, and so that we could possibly look for ways to reduce the cost of the project a little bit, to build up some contingency. And so with that, we feel pretty confident about the bid, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
No questions, Your Honor. We did also discuss this at length, Public Works project. So
Yeah.
everybody would seem to be excited about it. Do you have a question?
I do have a quick question.
Go
Sorry.
ahead.
I saw that to do this, we're not going to do the xeriscaping at those 2 parks. Have we been exploring other ideas on how we can still make that happen, like through local partnerships or?
Yes, definitely. And so basically, when the original appropriation was 400,000 of REIT for this project, we're kind of already right up at that point. And so my thought process of adding those potential contingencies was just in case we had to ask for a appropriation increase. Was that one possibility would be we could move over our supplemental budget request for the $30,000 for the Hagman Park shelter and $7,500 of city beautification for xeriscaping. Earlier, Todd mentioned that the city beautification one wouldn't be a good fit, so that one would not be one we would consider after all. So we'll still continue to try to pursue that.
Because I was going to say, because xeriscaping will save us so much in the long run, that 7,500 investment up front, I think, is going to pay off.
Yeah, I really hope
quickly,
that we
so
can make that happen still.
I'm glad that that's still like not fully off the table. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I'd make a motion. Oh,
Go ahead. I was just gonna,
approve
yeah,
F 496.
I agree. Pickleball's fun. Second.
There's a motion and a second for resolution F496. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, approved. That brings us back to you, Mr. Abelman, for your final
Ordinance
sign.
D3, and right now, if you so choose, that we're just asking for possibly a second reading. Based on the last meeting, there was discussion about fines collected, so we did add a section in 5.35.040 section B that any fines that are assessed pursuant to this chapter will be dedicated to pretty much education and enforcement to that end. So we added that language to that end. And then tonight you heard several public comments concerning basically the synthetic compared to the leaves. So I will just open it up for questions. I do have maybe one person backing me up that may have a little bit more detail on that, but yeah, I'll just open it for discussion.
I just want to emphasize, this is the prohibiting the sale of kratom. That's the ordinance.
Distribution.
Yep.
Your Honor, if I may, given that Chief Oakes isn't here, I think it would be appropriate to, again, this is just discussion, but the second reading, further the second reading, and then I would presume Chief Oakes would likely be here next council meeting if we have further questions. So that's where I'm probably at.
I have a question. So comparing our version of this ordinance to what Spokane Valley, and now Medical Lake have done. And we are, for the violation of the ordinance, we're just doing the increasing penalty fees. Everyone else is doing, at some point, we revoke their business license. I'm hoping we can add that into ours because it's not currently part of what we're doing. So we kind of are just like charging everyone a fee until forever, which doesn't feel like there's no real, I mean, at some point, there's no teeth there.
Yeah, so you're talking about revoking a business license?
Yeah.
And some of that, yeah, we'd have to go back and take a look at our ordinances for business license and set up kind of that process to that end. So we kind of pulled that section out of there because we weren't really prepped for our business license area for revoking business license. Changing that ordinance we could do, and then in conjunction with this
I did find in our municipal code an area that talks about revoking licenses where it is basically council gets to do it. So I assume something happens and then it comes before.
Yeah, we can definitely take a look at that, and then we can refer that if that's that code.
Okay. And if we already have something it's basically up to council to do it, like through a resolution or whatever, it'd be easier to add it into our ordinance now. And then that way we don't have to do multiple iterations of this iteration or of this ordinance.
Okay. Yep. We can take a look at it.
I guess just a comment on that. I mean, I think it would be, I wish Mr. Capon was here.
I believe he is online. Yeah. If you have a question for him, go ahead.
Well, just regarding what's your take on the revoking a business license as a penalty?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, and I apologize I can't be there in person today. That was included in the ordinances from, I believe, Spokane and Spokane Valley. The issue was that we did not have a good procedure in the Cheney Municipal Code for how we would essentially revoke it essentially as a penalty for selling this. There are some things in our municipal code that have to do with revoking business licenses, but they're for specific kinds of businesses, and not just more generally. And I'd be happy to work through that, make any adjustments to the language if that's the preference of council to include something like that. I think it would require a more robust kind of section just on business licenses generally, and how the city goes about revoking those.
Okay, thank you.
Mike, so on the part that I found in the code was for, I think, like businesses that have like dancing and alcohol, so I assume like clubs or whatever. And that if someone I assume if they sell to like a minor or something, then we could revoke their license and it comes before council. Could we just copy that language since it's specific to that type of business, and then it would be effectively this?
I think we could. I think we could do something very similar to that. Yeah. I saw the same one you did too. Yeah, with those kind of adult establishments and things like that.
I just have a comment. So we had lots of people comment online, and then we also had lots of emails about this. And the first person I think said they were from Kalamazoo, Michigan, and I was curious where the other folks were from. And I would be interested to hear if they were our constituents, and if not, what our constituents would be interesting.
I would agree with that. I felt like most of them were from out of town.
Let's make a comment real quick. How many of you guys actually went out and talked to people in the community about this issue in the last 2 weeks?
I talked to several.
How many of them actually knew what you were talking about, or already heard of this?
Very few.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why we're not hearing from constituents,
right,
because the numbers and the data do not match what we're being presented with. And that's my biggest issue with this ordinance. And I appreciate adding the language about dedicating the funds. That's fantastic. I'm not sure. I think penalizing 5 businesses with threatening to revoke a gas station's license over this product is necessarily the best approach. All of the literature that has been provided to us, whether it was through department heads or through the Kratom policy coalition people, or even the outside pro Kratom advocacy groups, they all say the same thing, and it doesn't match what this ordinance says. They all say that banning 7-OH products and its derivatives greater than 2% is where everybody's moving with this. Places that have done a full ban have found that it didn't work and they revoked it. Look to Rhode Island. The state of Washington has House Bill, because somebody mentioned it, so I looked it up. House Bill 2291. It's currently in committee. Okay. This is going to ban 7-OH products in percentages greater than 2%. That's where it gets to be dangerous. It adds an age restriction, labeling requirements, testing requirements, approved online directory, which addresses that how are we going to, maybe Mr. Capon can answer this. How do we enforce this against online retailers?
I didn't think we did.
Yeah, we can't. Okay. It was a trick question. We can't. But House Bill 2291 can, because at the state level, we can make those choices and we can make the decisions and we can actually do something that other places aren't. I don't think a one-size approach, copy and paste with some Control F and changing some things with the Spokane ordinance is the best approach for Cheney. We're not Spokane. If you want to live in Spokane, it's down the road. But we're here in Cheney. We have a chance to do something slightly different. And I think that's what we should be looking at, is how do we make sure that we make this effective and is in line with what the state is already trying to do, so that we're not having to come back and redo this in a few weeks or another year from now, whenever they actually make it through committee. But the guidance is moving towards banning 7-OH, not natural leaf kratom products. Additionally, I do have a question, because the word analog was used. We're talking about kratom analogs. So does that actually include natural kratom or just the analogs, which are comparable products that serve a similar function, but are not the actual kratom itself? That's what analog means. So what is it we're actually doing here?
Was that a question for Mike?
Yeah, I think that is a question for Mike, because that's a word question. So when you use analog in this, what are we referring to as an analog? What is it that we're actually banning here?
Yeah, I'll pull up the, was that defined in the language again? The task I was given was to adapt those two ordinances in a way that would work for Cheney. I'm not sure if that one has got a definition, but I will take a look right now.
Where does it say? You did a great job actually of defining the terms here, which was really nice.
Page 2.
Yeah, in definitions. So kratom or kratom product means any kratom analog, comma, food product, food ingredient, dietary ingredient. These are all, it's a list. It's a list separated by comma. So what do you mean by a kratom analog in this scenario? What is it we're banning? That's my question.
Yeah, we would need to provide a definition for that. And I will take a look at what the example ordinances that this is based off of, if they provide any more specific definition of that. I agree that's something that needs to be defined.
And lastly, the state is trying to make it a Class C felony to have this, possess it, distribute it. The state is going to come down ideally in this next session with some actual guidance on this. I think it would be beneficial for us to maybe potentially look at pushing this off or looking at amending some of the language in this before we have our third reading. And I will yield the rest of my time, please.
Can I address a couple or add a comment to that? Sure. So I think my understanding is like the item that's in the committee at the state level, like we're not going to get anything from that until end of next session sometime, or next summer it would go into effect or something like that. And so this would be basically protecting like kids, right? Like that's what Councilmember Postima was bringing up. It's like kids who have access to going to the local gas station, and instead of grabbing like the 5-hour energy, they grab the kratom thing that's right there at the checkout or something, that kind of thing. So it makes it harder for kids to access it because they're not going to go online and they're not going to drive to some other town, most likely, like young kids.
No, kids can definitely purchase stuff online. I've got a 9-year-old niece that buys stuff on Shein. Like kids, where there's a will, there's a way. Kids are very smart and highly capable of doing this. And the bus is free for 18 and under, and you can just take it down to the end of 904 and get it at the 76 station. So this doesn't actually protect kids. And what about the kids has never really been an effective argument when it comes to banning these things, because it's not going to, the numbers aren't there to support it. And if you talk to kids in the neighborhood and you talk to kids in the community, most of them haven't even heard of this. And if they do hear of it, well, now guess what? We just showed them what it was. We just told them what it was. We told them how it affected them and how, like, we're shining a light on something that wasn't an issue, and we're making it an issue by doing this and by having the broad sweeping approach instead of a targeted approach, which is what the FDA recommends. It's what the DEA recommends. It's what Washington recommends. It's what all these other groups, pro and anti, recommend. That is the sweet spot in that Venn diagram. That's where everybody agrees. And this ignores that. And that's my issue with it.
And then we're not able to, I don't think that we have the resources to do what the state is going to do, right? As Spokane doesn't have the resources to like be nuanced about the products. And so it's kind of like an all out ban in while we wait for the state to figure out how to do it properly.
Okay, so if resources and the ability to enforce this are the issue, how would we enforce it currently as it's written? What does that enforcement look like? Mr. Kwan, Mr. Kwan, could you answer that? Like, what does that enforcement actually look like as this is written? How does this get enforced?
I wish Chief Oakes was here. That's why I kind of
Yeah,
want
that's
Actually, it's a civil infraction. So the police don't even have anything to do with it. It's a civil infraction. This is code enforcement.
well, it's code. Yeah, it's code enforcement, and then I guess the question is where the city is going on code enforcement, and I'm not sure whether that's within the police department or within public works or potentially a mixture of the two. But yeah, it's civil, and it could be issued by code enforcement from the police department or another department. But they need to be deputized basically and receive that limited commission to become a code enforcement officer.
Your Honor, I certainly share some of Jacqueline's concerns, but again, I think we're not going to get all the answers tonight, and that's why I was trying to suggest. I think we, and again, just push on the second reading. We're obviously still considering this, and hopefully, in 2 weeks, we'll have a couple more answers, and we can make an educated decision on what does this look like. And I think as more comments come in, we're all learning more. I mean, I don't think anybody here on the dais is an expert at this. This is, and I do also agree. I mean, I really wish Chief Oakes was here because I'd like to see the statistics too.
Sure.
You know, again, my understanding, I asked this question last council meeting, who's championing this? It's not Todd. Todd is just, he's the
Presenter.
We'd like to hear from the champion of whoever's bringing this ordinance forward.
Here.
Okay.
So both myself and Chief Oakes brought this up after conferring with both. No, you can stay here. You sure? And so I think it's a great conversation, and obviously there's a lot of tentacles that's going out into this. But what I can tell you is that we're starting to see a little bit of this creep into the city of Cheney. You know, law enforcement's going to enforce the laws that the federal, the state, and you all set forth. The problem is the firefighters are responding on some of these patients that are using kratom with other derivatives as well. And so I'm not asking for a holistic ban on the use of anything. What I'm asking is that what can we do as a moratorium to slow the process down until either the federal government can regulate some of this, specifically the synthetic derivative, because a lot of the products, from what I've been able to do some research on, is being sold as kratom, even though it's the synthetic version of it. And so the fear that I have, and from what I'm seeing and talking to the folks in my circles for fire and EMS responses, is that yes, a minor can walk into a grocery store, pick up a little bottle of something with the Red Bull. It says kratom on it, and they drink 2 or 3 bottles of this and are overdosing. And so there is some science and some data out there that supports that folks have overdosed on this stuff. And I know it's got some great medicinal purposes, as I had mentioned 2 weeks ago at City Council, but we need some sort of a little bit of a regulation on this product. That's the reason why myself and Chief Oakes asked, is this something that we could bring forward? Attorney Capon, Mayor, and Todd have all obliged, but if now's not the time, that's okay too. We saw something starting to emerge and creep into the city. We had heard that the city of Spokane and Spokane Valley Fire had taken action on this. Why their law enforcement brought it forward for the city of Spokane and Spokane Valley, I don't know. I don't know why that was a law enforcement initiative. I believe Sheriff Knowles had his hand in proposing the one for the city of Spokane Valley, I believe. But regardless, is that you know, the firefighters are the ones that are responding to kids that are potentially overdosing on this stuff and without having any sort of regulation. That's all I'm aiming for. I think my intent is pure. I hope you understand that the intent is pure, because I don't want to see any person, let alone a minor, overdose on this stuff, especially if they don't know what they're taking.
One quick comment. I've heard a couple people say that they would like to hear the stats on this. We were provided with that. It was in the documents. I did read through the literature. I am a scientist. Biology is my bread and butter. I have taught this stuff. Kratom leaf itself and the natural kratom products, which is why I'm understanding, because I didn't know going in. I didn't know, just like we didn't. None of us did, because it wasn't something that was on our radar. Well, now I have done the research. I have read through the dense literature that I guarantee most people have not, nor will take the time to do, and that's okay. This is missing the key opioid component that causes respiratory and heart failure. That's what we see in things like your traditional opioids, like fentanyl. That's why we're seeing this showing up in tox screens with things like fentanyl. When you look at the stats, the majority of these overdoses, especially those that result in fatalities, there is fentanyl present. There have been no documented cases of kratom by itself that is causing an overdose. There's this component, and it's because the respiratory portion where it's causing your lungs to collapse and your heart to fail is present in the other opioids that are being consumed along with this product. And that's part of the problem that we're seeing. We need to be able to differentiate between the parts that are actually dangerous, which is that 7-OH in the greater than 2% concentrations. That is dangerous. Nobody's arguing against that. But we're trying to ban kratom broadly. And I'm just not sure that's going to have the effect or the impact that we think it's going to. And we can see from history that this doesn't work this way. And banning a plant has never actually been successful. So banning the derivatives makes sense. Banning the plant, it seems like this one size fits all approach is not going to work.
Sure, and that was not the intent, right? Have a big brushstroke to ban all of that. Whatever we can do to target this, and I aim to get it right, not fast. And I think if we need to pump the brakes on the ordinance to take a deeper dive into it to figure out what right looks like, I believe that is the right answer. Until somebody much smarter than myself, more at that CDC or FDA level, can get involved and start regulating some of these synthetic derivatives and ban those derivatives. I don't know what else is our options other than placing an ordinance to try to slow it down a little bit from creeping into our city.
I think couple comments I have. I think the Chief Oaks last week made a comment about similar to what Jackie was just mentioning, that we don't have a way to tell whether it's fentanyl or kratom right now because we don't have systems for detecting kratom. So we don't know whether it's fentanyl or kratom because kratom works the exact same as fentanyl. So we just don't have that right now in the synthetic form. So I think it makes sense for us to add these key components of the KCPA, the adulteration ban, the labeling requirements, the age restrictions, the manufacturing standards. I think it makes sense to put all that in the document, in the ordinance. I think it makes sense what Councilmember Bealock is mentioning as well, that we specifically say what we are banning. We're not banning the leaf. We're not banning the plant. We're banning the synthetic 7-OH. So we work that out a little bit better. And then I think what Councilmember Long is saying too, we need to see, it seems like we need to figure out a little bit too, what we're doing with a punitive approach to it as well. So I think it needs a little bit of work. I'm all for pushing it forward and getting that all fixed between the second and third reading. Namely because I'm a parent and I've often said to my kids, I don't care what the neighbors are doing. We're not doing it in my house. And I would like to say, I don't want you doing it in my city. I don't care what the neighbors are doing. And I don't care that you can get on the bus and go down to the neighbor's house. I don't care. In my house, we're not doing it. And so for that approach, I think we get the ordinance fixed. We get the language fixed. we get it done right, and I think we can. We're starting to get better. And I think we can get all that fixed before the third reading. And then we have something that works for us. And I read it too, Jackie, while somebody said it, and I'm like, I just immediately looked it up on Google, and okay, yeah, we've got an HR 5905 that's going to look like it's federally going to do some really great work. But in between that and now, and I don't know if anyone else has noted, the federal government's really fast at doing stuff. Is anybody else? They're super fast and efficient. And so like we can count on them to do that, right? Okay, then we need to do something because we know that they are going to take their time and they're not going to be quick about it. So I think in the meantime, let's do a great job. Let's fix these things and let's move towards a third reading. I don't know if you're good with that, Councilmember Bealock. If everyone's okay with that, I will make a motion. Unless somebody else has a comment. Great.
I just have one comment.
Great.
I think if you move forward between the second and third, I would ask that maybe you send this back maybe to public safety for clarification. And then that way we can start the work prior, because that falls in between the council meetings.
Okay.
Friendly amendment.
Friendly amendment. Yeah.
Go ahead. You like to do your
Anybody else?
deal now?
It's all me. Great. I just got to get the ordinance number Z3. Okay.
Safe to backpedal.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, we good? I'm going to move for the second reading of ordinance Z-03 in title and summary form only, and that it be deferred to a future meeting for consideration and also the safety subcommittee meeting. And a second council member will need to second the motion.
There's a motion and a second for the second reading of ordinance Z03. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Ordinance C3, an ordinance prohibiting the sale and distribution of kratom products in the city of Cheney, adopting the chapter 5.35 of the Cheney Municipal Code and other matters properly related thereto.
Do you want me to call it out or you?
No. Not till the
You're
third.
deferring.
That's right. Thank you. All right. Staff reports. Anyone have any staff reports? For all the staff that's here tonight.
Don't have much staff here tonight. But I just to let you know that Ed Meese will be joining us on Monday. I might be getting a hold of some council members, department heads. I want him to maybe just go a little bit of one-on-one over the next couple of weeks, kind of get him involved with that, introduce him to Eastern area city administrators, everybody. So he will have a pretty busy schedule over the next 2 weeks starting Monday. So I'm happy to welcome, and also happy to welcome James. Thank you.
Cool. Chief?
Yes, ma'am. Just a quick reminder that we're doing a Red Cross Blitz this Saturday in Cheney and thereabouts. And if you would like to volunteer and help out, let me know. We got a lot of folks from American Red Cross coming in with a lot of smoke detectors. So we'll be at North Cheney Mobile Home Park, the Pine Grove Complex, and then a little bit of housing district to the sort of northeast of the fire department, with hopes that maybe we could start doing this on an annual basis and just methodically move through the city. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Chief, what time is that on Saturday? What time do you need me there?
I believe we start at 8, but I will get back to you. I should
Coffee at least. All that money we saved on a truck.
Mr. Carly? Anything? Mr. Ross, do you have anything? For mayor's report, first of all, thank you to everyone who made Mayfest happen this past weekend. I think it was the biggest one yet. Heard so many great positive comments from citizens. From visitors to our town. People came from Tri-Cities just for the event that I talked to. Neighboring communities, Deer Park, Medical Lake, they all were very impressed. I heard a number of people say this is the best street fair that I've ever been to. This is better than any of the ones in my own hometown. People coming from Spokane who were like, I just love the feel. So much congrats to those who participated. Thank you to everyone who had a booth. Thank you to those here who showed up and made it happen. It's just a highlight of so many people's year. So thank you. I also want to say welcome publicly. Thank you. And then I also want to inform everyone that this is Todd's last city council meeting. And so thank you for all of your hard work for our city for very, very many years. I won't tell everyone how many years, but thank you for coming back for a longer time than anticipated to serve our city as the interim city administrator. You've done a great work for many years in public works, and then also for these past 5.5 months as our city administrator. And that's all because I know how much you love the attention that I will say on that. I don't have any further report, so we'll go from this side. Councilmember Hahn with reports.
Congratulations and thank you. Also, I wasn't able to attend May Fest this weekend, but I have also heard lots of wonderful things about it. So thank you to everyone who did attend and helped out with that. That's it for me.
I would definitely also echo Mayfest was great turnout both Friday and Saturday. Chief did a great job at the open house on Saturday. Yesterday I ended up going to the planning commission. They are working through the comp plan. They're hoping to tackle about 2 chapters for the next couple meetings. Their goal is to wrap up the hearing on, I believe it was November, in terms of their work plan, and the goal is obviously to deliver a comp plan with recommendations to us by December. So this Thursday, Public Works Subcommittee in the morning, and then SRTC. And on a slightly different note, I've seen a few commercials on this now, and I don't want to butcher the name of it. I call it the Lilac Parade, but I think it's the Armed Services Torchlight Parade is the official. But this year, the Queen, I think it's Queen Hayden is her name, is from Cheney. And I saw a very small clip. One of her math teachers, Mr. Smith, I didn't catch his first name, but Adam Smith. Was on KHQ with her, and they were talking about how she got nominated, the process, and obviously the teacher made a big influence so in her life. And I just think it'd be great to see if the Queen would like to come and bless us with her presence because I can't remember, in over the last 10 years when we had the Queen at the Lilac Parade. So I think it's pretty unique. So hats off to her. Congrats to her.
Cool. Thank you. Councilmember Postuma.
Good. Yeah, I thought Mayfest was great too. Thanks so much, everybody. It was just a great time. It's such a great event for us as a city, and I loved it. Welcome, James. Thanks for being here, and it's been great to meet you, and I'm super excited about us moving forward. I just wanted to mention, I thought we just had a great, robust discussion without interrupting, very adult-like. Thank you very much. I thought that was great, and we all valued one another's opinions, and this is what city council should be. Thought that was really great. Lastly, I'd just like to say, Todd, Priest Lake is calling.
Councilmember Long.
Yeah, okay. So I guess real quick before I jump in, thank you, Todd, for a second time retiring. Hopefully this one sticks for you. Yeah. And then welcome, James. Nice to have you join us. Okay, so see, I did a handful of things. I kind of crashed the steering committee of elected officials meeting. So Councilmember Hahn is on it as primary. I'm alternate, so I went and I just observed, which I thought was really informative. And I feel like it was about as organized as what Councilmember Hahn has expressed, and I've heard from others. So I think it's good that they're working through the important comprehensive growth plan items that we need. I went to the CMA this month, and there was a fellow from Eastern who presented that his students have teamed up with 350 Spokane to bring they're calling it Prepared Planet. It's a community fire resilience fair. So it's going to be, I think, next week at the Eastern on campus in the mall, and it's open to the public. It's free. They're going to have like backpacks or like to-go bags and stuff. Anyway, so I just wanted to call it out since we're heading into what might be a busy fire season. So just so everyone is aware. And I put the link on there. Last week, I also had the cool opportunity. Shelly hooked me up with the chef for the school district, which I didn't know we had such an amazing program, but I got to have lunch at the high school with Chef LJ and hear all about his program that they've built and how they make all the food from scratch and they source it locally and they are really scrappy with all of the finances to keep the funding down and pay for everything. And anyway, I was super impressed. And the meal, I have bison chili, which is like, I don't even have that at home. Like, yeah. So anyway, kudos to the nutrition program folks, to Chef LJ, and thank you, Shelly, for coordinating that for me. Saturday before Mayfest, I got to attend the Veterans Memorial Park mural unveiling. So I think a couple council meetings ago, they came and shared they were working on this, and so they got to unveil it on Saturday, which was great. The students were there. This was kind of a collaboration between a whole bunch of folks, Parks and Rec, Park Board, Cheney Heart and Soul, Communities in School, Signature Touch Window Painting, Craft Cupboard, and then the high school art club. So it was like a ton of people and it looks amazing. I think it's really cool. It honors our vets and our whole community. And I thought we had a lot of folks that were able to speak, and that was great. Yeah. And then, of course, echoing what everyone's been saying, Mayfest was a total blast. And so I have a whole bunch of text that's very tiny on there. Anyway, yeah, I thought it was great. Kudos to Mayor Martin for making sure that we had a really big city presence, which we've never really had before. I thought that was awesome. We had 3 like core functions, city tables, we had a park and rec table, we had police table, we had the fire station just right up the street having their open house. It was really cool. Got to see the helicopter go up and down, you know, from the city tables. Anyway, it was just, I thought it was phenomenal. And I didn't get to see everything because I was trying to hang out close to the booth. But it was just awesome. So major kudos to everybody who put it on. Yeah. I think that was it.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Nazaro.
Yeah, Mayfest was awesome. Welcome aboard, James, and huge thank you to Todd. That is it.
Councilmember Thila.
Hey, Todd, you're gonna block all our numbers, right? There you go. So no, thank you. Like, you've been a huge source of information, and we're about to lose a bunch of institutional knowledge with you, but I look forward to, seeing what the new chapter holds for Cheney. Both with city administrator as well as finance director. I'm really excited for this. I plan on attending the Kratom Policy Collaborative meeting tomorrow. I believe that is the group that has been behind a lot of this push. And so I really want to make sure that before we make a final decision, like, I'm trying to gather information from all sides of this issue and making sure that we are fully understanding what it is that we're doing, why we're doing it, and what the outcome we hope to achieve is. So I'm really excited to attend that, and I'm looking forward to that one. I'm also really excited for next city council meeting and to get our update on well number 5. I'm really excited to just make sure that everybody's on the same page with that one moving forward, and what we're doing to handle what we have done, et cetera, those sorts of things. And then, yeah, I really appreciate the conversation that we were able to have tonight. I don't think any of us are in favor of this getting in kids' hands. I don't think any of us are in favor of people in our community having negative health outcomes one way or the other. I'm glad that we're able to take the time to make sure that we do this right, because doing it fast and wrong can be really dangerous. And so I'm glad that we're taking the time to make sure that we get this right. And if it looks like it did, how it was presented to us, and we determine that that's the best course of action, then we will have done our due diligence. And that is what the people of Cheney elected us to do. Okay. So sad I missed Mayfest, but my husband was graduating with his JD and I was not going to miss that. So,
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Well, thank you. Thank you, all of you, for being here and participating in your city government. With that, at 7:10, Our meeting is concluded. Sorry, Vince, let me try that again.
Yes, with authority. Own that gal.
Yeah.